Time. Let's talk royals. Well, last week it was dominated, wasn't it, about Prince Andrew? What did he, didn't he know? Was he going to be losing his titles? Was he going to be ousted from his home? Well, it certainly looks like he is going to be leaving his 30-room mansion in Windsor, Royal Lodge, which apparently he's barely not paid any rent on in 20 years, and so he barely pays his water rates or anything like that at all. But apparently that's just completely normal. He and Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife, do you think that's rather crucial? Ex-wife, not entirely sure whether anyone's got a duty of care to her. They have agreed to move, but apparently they are demanding 2 homes for the price of 1. Let's talk to Rupert Bell about this. Talks royal correspondent. Morning to you.
Good morning,
Good
Julia.
morning.
Oh, the problems with Prince Andrew. Yes, here we go. It beggars belief half the time. I mean, I always come on and I always enjoy talking to you about Meghan and Harry, particularly when I watch their videos. But I am certainly, when it comes to Andrew, I always think, well, is he going to do the right thing?
No, the answer is always no.
No, and I appreciate there he is living in his 30-room apartment, which he had since 2003. He has a lease on it to 2007-8. By all accounts, he paid $1 million up front and also $7.5 million of his own money to renovate.
Where did he get that money from?
Well, his finances are subject, to speculation, but he said he could afford to live there. But since the latest revelations about his links with Jeffrey Epstein, obviously now he's given up the Duke of York, which now might be subject to a parliamentary review, but he still protests his innocence. Yeah. And this is the problem, because in the court of public opinion, he is very much guilty. But to want 2 houses, and as you say, for Sarah Ferguson, it does, again, seem to be trying to push it and saying, well, I'm entitled to it.
Then it's always entitled. Well, he's demanded Frogmore Cottage, which we know about because, of course, that's where Harry and Meghan lived before Megxit. Although, again, when the royals use the term lodge, because like Forest Lodge apparently is where the William and Kate are going to. I mean, what they mean is that these are big, huge mansions, and the cottages are huge, big houses as well. But Frogmore Cottage, and Fergie is looking at Adelaide Cottage, which is where William and Kate have been living. I mean, I just find it absolutely extraordinary. It's this idea, you just go, oh, hello, I'd just like to have a big house. Now, there is an issue with some of these houses. They're in the security of the Windsor estate. So there's difficulty of are these homes that could be rented out to you or me if we had the money, would that be safe? But there's the sense of entitlement is off the scale.
And this, I think, is what is totally frustrating members of the royal family. He has always had a sense of entitlement. He's always been convinced by his royalness, and to the detriment. And until he wakes up and smells the roses in whichever cottage he's living in, I'm afraid his troubles won't go away. Nope. And for the royal family, it must be totally frustrating. Last week, King goes to see the Pope, which was quite a symbolic act. But we got nothing about that. It's all about Andrew.
Come on. I was on air thinking, I mean, goodness me, who wants to watch, hours and hours and hours of that ceremony, for goodness sake. I mean, look, but it wasn't, but it wasn't on front page of the paper because it was all about, Prince Andrew. But you're right, there's no doubt. Here's the thing, though. Look, it's this idea that the King, when he was the Prince of Wales and the Queen, were totally and utterly oblivious to all the scandals that were about to erupt. I just don't believe that. It was very obvious to me that we all knew a lot of their stuff for a very long time. Did anyone think that Prince Andrew didn't lie every single word he said in that Newsnight interview? No. Everything's been exposed. This was a long time coming. And look, King Charles has been trying to get rid of his difficult younger brother for a very long time for many different reasons. But they should have seen this coming.
Well, they should have done. But also the problem was when the late Queen was alive, there were other issues at stake there. He was seen as the favoured son. So there was a lot of emotion. And that's why it was hard for the royal family to deal with it. And perhaps why the Queen was prepared to help front up that money that was paid to Virginia Giuffre when she was alive. And that was part of the problem. But now the problems seem to be exacerbating to the frustration of not only the King, but also the Prince of Wales now. And they just don't know what to do with him because it seems to get worse and worse.
Well, indeed, and you touched on it in your first answer, but Ed Davey, the Liberal Democrat leader, the Lib Dems say they're going to use when they get an Opposition Day motion in the Commons about him losing his titles. Now, he's agreed to stand down from not using, he's not using HRH for some years now, but not the dukedom and a load of other nonsense titles he's got. But he keeps Prince because he was born to a queen. But I mean, I have to say, I think it's absolutely absurd that a minute of parliamentary time should be wasted on this. And if the Lib Dems think the biggest issue facing the country right now that they need to raise is what Prince Andrew calls himself on his headed notepaper or when he books a restaurant table, they're in cloud cuckoo land.
Yeah, and, I think it's something that's... I can't work out how many times it's actually been done that parliamentary time has been spared on members of the royal family. Obviously, back in the abdication in the late 30s, clearly there was some time going on there. But obviously, for Prince Andrew, he's just got to find a way of going away and going into hiding.
But he won't. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. And here's the thing, the damage to the royal family is now very real, because I always thought actually after the late Queen died that, King Charles wouldn't be as popular, but seems to be a lot of support, especially after his cancer diagnosis and the dignity he's shown since he's been in office. But there is no doubt, there's the latest poll by Republic showing that support for the monarchy has now slipped below 50%.
And that's the issue for the royal family. And Prince Andrew is compounding the problem because it's always coming at you. And it looks like, they're, an entitled family, sort of not above the law at times. And for Prince Andrew...
They are literally above the law. They're not required to pay income tax and things like that. Or they don't pay inheritance tax. They are literally above the law.
And this is the problem for the royal family. They've got to make sure they're seen fit for purpose. And that's one of William's mantras, is that we do have to look as if we are, sharing some of the pain of the rest of the country. Clearly, they live in a gilded cage and they've got all the rich trappings. And Prince William, I believe, is moving into Forest Lodge this week. Yeah. So for the royal family, it's a problem that is just not going away.
It is not, absolutely not. Rupert Bell, you are going away now because we're going up to the news. Rupert Bell, thank you so much.